The story begins not in Chicago, but in Limerick. A young Irishman named Tommie Ryan watched as the Black and Tans stormed through his homeland. He saw violence. He saw resistance. He saw his mother beaten in her own farmhouse. He joined the flying column of Middle Limerick, barely more than a boy, blowing bridges, blocking roads, fighting for an Ireland still being born. Captured, he was brought to Dublin, to Kilmainham jail, where the leaders of the Easter Rising had been executed, and then to the Curragh camp in County Kildare. For 10 months he helped dig an escape tunnel with knives and forks. 200 men crawled to freedom, but the night Tommie was to go, the tunnel jammed. The game was up, he later said. Released after the Treaty of 1922, he did what so many Irish did. He left. He arrived in Chicago in 1926, a 22-year-old refugee from revolution, carrying a fiddle and a stubborn belief that Irish music must live. Within 4 years, he and fellow immigrants founded what would become the Shannon Rovers. They began as a fife and drum corps. By 1932, they took up the war pipes, instruments once outlawed in Ireland as weapons of war. And so, in Chicago, the pipes rose again. Through the Great Depression, their mission was clear: to preserve Irish music and to help members in distress. They played dances, they raised funds, they built community. In 1933, they performed at the Chicago World's Fair. They played for Pope John Paul II, for presidents from Franklin D. Roosevelt onward. They became something like the house band of Irish Chicago. In 1952, dismayed that St. Patrick's Day had gone uncelebrated for decades, Tommie organised a parade through his West Side neighbourhood. 4 years later, it moved downtown, and since 1956, the Shannon Rovers have led Chicago's St. Patrick's Day parade every single year. In 1980, they led Sydney's St. Patrick's Day parade, flew home across the world and led Chicago's parade within 24 hours. They have returned to Ireland again and again, competing at the Flacchiol, placing first, second and third, proving that the music born in Ireland could travel across an ocean and come home stronger. They played at the White House, at Arlington National Cemetery for Maureen O'Hara's funeral, at memorials after September 11th, for presidents, for firefighters, for children, for the grieving. And at more than 1,000 funerals, Tommie Ryan himself stood and played Danny Boy. When he died at 97, there was no question what would be heard at his own funeral: the pipes. Today, more than 80 members carry that sound forward. Plumbers, teachers, doctors, first responders, generation after generation, not simply musicians, but custodians of memory. From a farmhouse in Limerick to Kilmainham jail to the streets of Chicago, the Shannon Rovers are not just a band. They are the echo of history, the heartbeat of a city, and the sound of Ireland carried proudly across an ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to honour Tommie Ryan and the Shannon Rovers Irish Pipe Band as 2026 Irish American Hall of Fame Hometown Heroes.